Jackson Staff Spotlight. We are featuring from the City of Jackson Police Department, Lieutenant John Lillie. Hi, John.
Hi.
Good to see you again. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, John was here on the morning show earlier with the Officer of the Year.
Yes, Officer Morris was Officer of the Year. Got to be present and introduce him and talk him up a little bit.
Yeah, he's one of your guys because that's your area as lieutenant. You're in charge of, looks like patrol operations commander.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean?
So I'm kind of in charge of everything that has to do with patrol. Any patrol officers, issues, training issues, discipline issues, awards, anything that has to do with our general patrol functions is my responsibility.
Awesome. How long have you been with JPD?
I've been there a little over 17 years now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And this has been is this your only job that you've ever had?
No. When I when I graduated college, I worked in a small town in Lenawee County, in Morenci, for just a few months before I hired in at Jackson. But other than that, this has been my only law enforcement job. So.
Nice. And you're a hometown boy.
Yes. Well, Hillsdale County. I was
Yeah.
born and raised in Hillsdale County.
Was that your dream growing up, going to school, thinking you'd be with law enforcement?
I always had an interest in it. My grandfather was a retired from Flint Police Department, so I remember when I was little and him pulling up, and he actually, when he retired from Flint, he came and worked a little bit part-time in Jonesville, and so I remember when I was really young him pulling into the driveway in the old Jonesville police cruiser, and so it's always kind of been an interest of mine. So when I got to college and was trying to pick a major, I decided to get into law enforcement. So.
Where'd you go to college?
Grand Valley State's where I went to college, and then attended the police academy in Battle Creek, Michigan. So
you chose the Jackson Police Department. Of course, you were familiar somewhat with JPD growing up in Jonesville. What was it about Jackson and JPD that you liked?
Well, it was close to home. I didn't want to go. I wanted to stay in Michigan. I wasn't interested in going out of state. And family's always been important for me, and so I wanted to stay close enough where I was going to be able to see my family on a regular basis. So I started applying close to home, and then kind of branched out from there. And Jackson Police Department was one of the first two departments I applied at when I got out of college. I can't remember which one was first, but it was between Jackson and Battle Creek. I also wanted to work in a city. I wasn't really interested in working in a sheriff's department. I wanted to be in a more condensed area. Wanted to be busy, wanted to be active, wanted to be able to really help. And Battle Creek and Jackson are Battle Creek's a little bigger, but they're both pretty similar cities, and it just was really appealing to me. And I just happened to be Jackson, one of the first places I applied, ended up finally calling me. And
you want to see more action and just be busier.
Yeah. Well, I said, I didn't want to go someplace where I was going to be bored.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be able to experience a lot of different things, and with the busy part of the city and whatnot, you end up getting more exposure to trainings, more exposure to advancements in technology and things like that, like all the things that have changed since I started with mobile data computers and tasers and things like that. But none of that stuff was really a big thing when I first. Body cameras, and you can see, like, usually your bigger cities are kind of on the forefront of that technology, which is kind of interesting.
Really, it's a lot of equipment and really a lot of technology that you have to learn and be a master of.
Oh, yeah.
And it weighs a lot.
Yes, it does. It does weigh a lot. You get used to it, though.
Are you in charge of training officers?
I have been in the past, but the training requests come through me for patrol officers. So if a specific officer has a specific training they want to go to, they can submit a request through me, and then I kind of recommend my approval or denial, and then move it up the chain to finally to the director, where he would either approve or deny a training. So we also have our support operations lieutenant, who can just send officers to training, whether they like it or not, they're going. But if they want to request a specific training, or if an officer's supervisor, their sergeant, wants to put them through a training, they can send that request through me, and I can either approve or deny it and send it up the chain. So
one thing the community's noticed is we have some new police cars. Mm-hmm. You've changed from Ford Explorers.
Yeah, that kind of came at. We didn't really have much choice. We had some issues with supply. We were down quite a few police cars. If I remember right, we were probably at least a couple years, maybe almost 3 years, of not being able to fill the patrol cars that we needed. They were basically on back order. And so the Durangos were available, and unfortunately we had to have them. We were getting so low on cars, we were getting worried about any more issues, whether it be an accident or an engine problem or something. We were going to not be able to put enough officers out on the street.
Wow.
So we had to make up some ground, and we purchased quite a few Dodge Durangos to fill that need.
So how did the officers like the Durango versus the Explorer?
I think they like them, but they like anything new and shiny, know. So
like anyone else.
It seems like any time we switch cars, all through the years when I started, we had Chevy Impalas, and then we went to Crown Vics, and then back to Chevy Impalas, I think, for a while, and then finally to the Ford Explorer. And anytime you get a new car, everybody wants to drive it and see what it's like. But I think they're a little too small for me. I like the Explorers a little better.
They look a little smaller.
Roomy, yeah.
Now you are on the Jackson Special Response Team. In fact, you're currently the team commander.
Yes, sir.
Is that like a SWAT team?
Yes. Very. It is a SWAT team. It's. I think they kind of most places have gone away from using that acronym just because we don't want people to have it associated with being overly aggressive. I mean, that's not what we're there to do.
Yeah. Plus, that term's been used for something that when people call in false.
We call in false calls and trying to get.
Yeah.
So, but we haven't experienced a lot of that in Jackson, thank goodness. But we have had a couple instances where we thought we were maybe dealing with something like that.
Oh, wow.
But no, it's just something we if a situation calls for maybe a little more dangerous or need a little more techniques or equipment than normal patrol can handle, and that's what they have us for.
So you guys have to be like ready. You have your boots like lined up right next to the bed.
No, not quite, but there are times where we get some 3 a.m. calls and things like that. But we have a spot where we kind of launch from, where all our gear is set up and ready to go. We can usually within like an hour or so be on scene of just about anywhere in the county.
Wow. So outside of working for JPD, what do you like to do in your free time?
Hobbies, golfing. Love to golf. Actually going to golf tonight, hopefully, if the weather cooperates. Horses have always been a big part of my life since probably college. I got my first horse and like to show, and we do shows up in Midland, which is just it's a neat place to go visit too. So we get to go up there 3 or 4 times a year, and hunting, fishing, everything outdoors basically.
Great. Well, thanks for your service to the community, and thanks for being on our show today.
All right, thanks for having me.
Good to see you again.
Appreciate it.
From the Jackson Police Department, Lieutenant John Lillie, our City of Jackson Staff Spotlight.